Hi there, and welcome to this week's edition of Top End Track Talk. I'm Andrew O'Toole, and today we'll be having a look at not one, but two race meetings that come up for decision in the Territory in the next couple of days. Firstly, we'll have an in-depth look at the Friday the 13th meeting in Darwin, and following that, the Saturday 14th feature fixture in the Red Centre, which will herald the start of the 5-day Cup Carnival. Consequently, we won't be speaking with any of our training or riding talent this week, but we will try our best to steer you into a few winners. For the second consecutive week, Darwin has a 5-race card this Friday, but I'm pleased to say that the fields are a little better this week, with some 37 horses down to contest the races on Friday. In the first in Darwin, the maiden 1300 metres, my numbers are 2, 1, 5 and 8. Number 2 on top here gets another gilt-edged opportunity to win a race, Bartender Man, for Felicia Bergstrand and Cherie Lawler. That pretty good combination in this horse. 3 seconds his last 3, looking to continue the very, very good run of the Darwin tried horses, and I think he gets the ideal chance today. Number 2 on top, Bartender Man, to beat number 1, Baggins. Good run fresh up the other week for Gary Lafoe. Paul Shires goes on today. In for third, number 5, Tantat Blaze for Carl Spry. Wayne Davis doing the riding with Carl suspended this week. And in for fourth, number 8, Fusici Eagle. Those numbers 2, 1, 5 and 8. In the second, it's the benchmark 54. It's over the 1300 metres, and the numbers here 1, 3, 6 and 4. Number 1 on top, best bet of the day, Grammar Boy for Gary Clark and Brendan Davis, looking a very, very smart 3-year-old, this fellow. He's had 2 starts in the top end over this trip first up, and then over the 1100 metres last time, won them both pretty impressively. He's the horse to beat without a shadow of a doubt. Number 1 on top, to beat number 3, Dream Passenger. Racing well without winning for Tayan Holter. Stephen Riddler retains the ride after his good run for second last week. He'll be in the mix. In for third, number 6, Geronimo's Son for Gary Lafoe Jr. Kim Gladwin aboard. Good third on the 29th of March, his last start. And in for fourth, number 4, He Says So. Those numbers 1, 3, 6 and 4 in the second. In the third, it's the Darwin Corporate Park Handicap. It's a 0 to 58 and it's over 1100 metres. The numbers here 2, 1, 4 and 5. Number 2, Mavericks. I think he gets an ideal opportunity in the small field to break through for a well-deserved win. Carl Spry's team's been racing well of late, and Kim Gladwin takes the mount here. It was a good run fresh up the other day, or first up for a little while anyway, behind My Snip, and he can get the chocolates. Number 2 on top, ahead of number 1, Dark Whirlwind. Good win last week for Shane Clark and Stephen Riddler, and can race well again. In for third, the fresh up Evil Miss for David Bates and Brendan Davis aboard. She's very speedy, and fresh up she'll be hard to beat at the 1100. And in for fourth, number 5, Nicarossa. Those numbers in the third, 2, 1, 4 and 5. In the fourth in Darwin, it's the 10 Darwin Handicap. It's for the 0 to 70 gallopers, and it's over the 1,000 metres. One of our smaller fields on the day, only 5 runners to contest this one, but the numbers 1, 2, 4 and 3. Number 1 on top here, Killam, looks a very good bet for Kerry Petrick and Wayne Davis. Racing really well, 2 wins, 2 seconds his last 4 starts, and the trip will suit also the 1 gate. He jumps out of barrier 1. Number 1 on top, to beat number 2, Hearts Ablaze. Fresh up for David Bates. Good to see David back with a couple of runners. Paul Shires in the saddle. Pretty smart galloper on his day, Hearts Ablaze, and I think he'll take a power of beating first up. In for third, also Adamus, slightly out of his grade, but in the small field I think he'll be competitive. Kim Gladwin for Carl Spry. And in for fourth, the newcomer, Chariot of Gold. Those numbers 1, 2, 4 and 3. And in the last in Darwin, it's the 0 to 64 handicap. It's over the 1,600 metres. 1, 2, 4 and 5, the numbers here. He gets another opportunity today, does Celebracti. Second the other day behind the stablemate Captain Apollo, and second the start before behind Neat Feet. This is a good deal, easier, and the 1,600 metre suits. Richie Oakford retains the ride, and he looks the one to beat for me. Number 1 on top, ahead of 2, Strategic Journey for the Phil Cole stable. Jason Lyon aboard, racing consistently. Just forget that last run. I think he can get back to some decent form here. In for third, You Want. Another good run last week for Cherie Lawler and Felicia Bergstrand, knocking on the door. And my fourth selection, number 5, Stackhouse. 1, 2, 4 and 5 in the last in Darwin. The best bet in Darwin this Friday, without a doubt, race 2, number 1, Grammar Boy. Race 2, number 1, Grammar Boy looks a really smart young horse on the way up. And while the best roughie comes up in the first, another from the Clark stable, number 7, Desiree. Number 7, Desiree. Having a look at Alice Springs now, and the Imparja Television NT Guineas is the feature race on day one of the carnival for the 3-year-olds, $50,000 up for grabs. We'll start with the first though, the 0 to 66 1100, and my numbers in this small field are 2, 1, 3 and 4. It's the 66-11 as we mentioned. Second Bayer on top for me, Jason Lyon for Dick Leach. Dick had a day out last Saturday with 4 winners and can continue that run in the first on Saturday. Ahead of number 2, Tea Tree Gully, Ray Viger for Greg Connor. In for third, a newcomer to Alice Springs, Al Barty from the Kerry Petrick stable, Paul Denton aboard. And in for fourth, number 4, Heart of Red. 2, 1, 3 and 4 in the first. In the second, it's the open sprint over the 1100 metres. My numbers 6, 1, 4 and 3. I think he can get back to his best form here. The Palmerston Sprint winner from last year, Nakoko. He's had the one run on Alice Springs this campaign for Gary Lafoe Jr. Kim Gladwin retains the ride. Wasn't a bad run first up. I think he'll be improved for that and be hard to beat. 6 on top here, ahead of number 1, Java. He's having his first run in the red centre this campaign for Gary Clark. Brendan Davis aboard. He was the last start winner on the 30th of December in Darwin, and he'll be there when the whips are cracking. In for third, number 4, the very impressive and very consistent Lock the Doors for Lisa Whittle, and in for fourth, number 3, Ice Flow. Those numbers 6, 1, 4 and 3. In the third, it's the 0 to 70. It's over the 1,000 metres. The numbers are 4, 1, 2 and 5. 4 on top, a smart horse, Einstein Magic. Dick Leach again. He's really firing up as Dick. And Jason Lyon aboard. Good last start win on the 17th of February, and he can repeat the dose here. Got him on top ahead of 1, Marble Duke. Gary Clark, Brendan Davis combination. In for third, number 2, Override. The 1,000 metres will suit for trainer Russell Bell and Ray Viger. And the fourth selection, number 5, Gamora. 4, 1, 2 and 5 in the third. The fourth's another open handicap. It's over the 1,400 metres. Horses in this may be looking towards the big race, the Cup, in just a few short weeks' time. And my numbers here are 5, 3, 2 and 4. I'm going with the local, Rhythm of Cuba, for trainer Will Savage. Barry Huppets takes the mount here. The 1,400 is a pretty good distance for Rhythm of Cuba, and I think fresh up, actually third up today. He's had 2 runs back and getting ready now. The 1,400 should suit. 5 on top for me, ahead of number 3, Kefar from the Gary Clark stable. Hasn't raced for a little while, but Gary will be getting him ready for the Cup, no doubt. In for third, number 2, Lake Jackson, the visitor from Port Lincoln, trained by Angela Forster. Won his last 2 and racing tremendously well. Carl Spry aboard. And in for fourth, number 4, Be Disguised. 5, 3, 2 and 4. As we get towards the business end, race 5, it's the 66 1400. Good field engaged here in a capacity lineup. My numbers 8, 3, 5 and 4. I'm going with number 8 on top here, Rye for Kerry Petrick, and Wayne Davis makes the trip to the Alice. Been racing in good form, has Rye. Good runs, his last 2 or 3 in Darwin. First run in Alice this campaign, but I think he'll be taking a power of beating over the 1400. Number 8 on top, ahead of 3, Ash Gray. Very good win last week for the Leanne Gillette stable. Jared Todd retains the mount. In for third, Ticket to Paris. Carl Spry on for Angela Forster, and the fourth selection, number 4, Baker's Dozen. 8, 3, 5 and 4 my numbers. As we turn the page to the second last, and it is the feature, the $50,000 Imparja Television NT Guineas. It's for the 3-year-olds. It's over the 1,600 metres, a field of 8 to face the starter. The numbers here, 3, 5, 4 and 8. Hard to see him being beaten. Patria carried all before him in his short career in the Territory. 4 starts, 3 in Darwin for 3 wins, then a very good win in Alice the other week. The 1,400 last time, the step up to the mile, probably the only question mark. But Brendan Davis aboard, he looks the horse to beat. Patria on top, number 3. Ahead of That's Justified, chased Patria home last time. Carl Spry rides for Leanne Gillette, very consistent galloper. He'll be there or thereabouts. In for third, Perfect Fox. He chased the top 2 home last time out. Only his second start in a race, but Dick Leach's team's going well. And in for fourth, the newcomer to the Alice in Tristoff for the Greg Connor stable. 3, 5, 4 and 8 in the Guineas. And in the last, it's the Allison Territory Handicap. It's a 0 to 58. It's over the 1,200 metres. And my numbers here, 7, 1, 5 and 12. Number 7 on top, God Forbid for Kerry Petrick. Paul Denton aboard. Really liked the horse's run last week behind Ladwell. Tried hard and can go on from that to get the chocolates in the last here. Ahead of number 1, Duke of York for Gary Lafoe Jr. Kim Gladwin aboard. In for third, Kerry's stablemate, Bon Jet. Wayne Davis aboard, and in for fourth, number 12, Wingard. Those numbers, 7, 1, 5 and 12. The best bet in Alice on Saturday, undoubtedly race 6, number 3, Patria. Race 6, number 3, Patrie. He looks like he'll be winning the Guineas. While the best roughie on a tough program, Race 5, that's number 9, Wisen Up. Race 5, number 9, Wisen Up. That wraps up this edition of Top End Track Talk. We'll be back before the Anzac Day meeting here in Darwin on the 25th of April. But until that time, good luck and good punting.